Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, and may God's peace and blessing be upon you all. First of all, I am Talib Abdulhamid Benito, acting Dean of the King Faisal Center for Islamic, Arabic, and Asian Studies. I finished my bachelor's degree in political science from the Mindanao State University and my master's degree in Islamic Studies from the Institute of Islamic Studies, University of the Philippines, Diliman, Quezon City. Before I start, allow me to say something brief first about this center. The King Faisal Center for Islamic, Arabic, and Asian Studies is one of the 17 academic units of the Mindanao State University, and of course, the first government institution in the Philippines that is mandated to offer Islamic and Arabic studies. It is not our mission to convert non-Muslim into Islam. As academic institution, our goals is to teach Islam as part of the rich Philippine culture, and for that matter, to make Muslim good Muslims in order to make them good and productive partners in nation building, and to enable non-Muslim to understand Islam as the basis of socio-cultural life of the Muslim to facilitate national integration and unity among Filipino nations. I wish to thank the group for enabling us to be heard this morning about these essential topics on Islam and the Muslims. So I understand that my part here is to discuss to you what is Islam and who is a Muslim. This is a very important topic, and so far a complete discussion of this will take several hours. But let me say briefly about this subject matter. Now, the concept Islam, according to Muslim scholar, is equivalent to the root word Islam or Psalm, which means peace, purity, and submission to the will of God. So Islam is complete submission to the will of God. What is the will of God? The will of God, to which He wants Muslim to submit, is to follow His law. Now, this law of God pertains to the revealed law of society and the physical law of nature. All these two constitute the totality of God's law. The revealed law of God has been consolidated from the Islamic point of view in the Quran as the final revelation of God to mankind. Now, the physical law of nature constitute the unrevealed law of God, which as Muslim should also learn in order to satisfy his need in this world. So a Muslim, for that matter, can be defined as one who submit himself totally to the will of God. Now, this submission to the will of God actually is either voluntary or involuntary. Allah mentioned in the Quran, يُسَبِّحُ لِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ طَوْعًا وَكَرْهًا. Everything on the heavens and on earth submits to God or praise the name of Allah either voluntarily or involuntarily. Meaning to say, that Muslimness of an individual is either voluntary or involuntary. Now, voluntary submission emphasizes the will of man upon reaching the age of maturity to choose Islam as his religion. Now, involuntary submission is one which we have with the animal kingdom. Every creation of God, for that matter, has to submit involuntarily to the law of God. Otherwise, they will not be able to survive. So, by this definition, everything, every creation of God is to some extent Muslim, because they have to submit involuntarily to the law of God. Yeah. So this is what we call Muslimness by necessity. Now, for us to understand clearly what is involuntary submission or what is Muslimness by necessity, we must look at to the functioning of our physical body. Now, our blood has to follow the rules, the law which the Creator has ordained for it. The law which God ordained for the flow of our blood in our body is to follow the veins of our body. Now, suppose someone cuts his vein, his major vein, what will happen? So, involuntary submission is actually Muslimness by necessity. Now, let me discuss briefly what is voluntary submission. Voluntary submission is actually the one which true believers of God have. So as Muslim, we have to submit voluntarily and involuntarily. Voluntarily means that upon reaching the age of maturity, we testify that there is no God but God, and Muhammad is the prophet of God, and then perform the prescription of the Shari'ah law. That is voluntary submission or Muslimness by will. Involuntary submission, that is, as I have said a while ago, is one that we share with the lower animals, with all human beings. Everybody is to some extent a Muslim because he has to submit involuntarily, whether he like it or not, to the law of God. Otherwise, he may not be able to survive. I think this topic, discussion of this topic requires too much time for us. So let me see another important thing, that Muslimness is an attributive title. As an attributive title, it is not merely a name that is adopted. One may adopt a Muslim name, but it doesn't mean that he is automatically a Muslim. He may also testify to the oneness of God, but if he do not perform the meaning of testification, we cannot consider him a Muslim. So as an attributive title, only those who possess this attribute are Muslim. Now, for example, an attribute of being a Muslim is this testification that there is no God but God, and Muhammad is the prophet of God. Of course, the 5 pillars of Islam and the articles of faith are among the important adjectives for being a Muslim. Yeah. Now, it is good news to announce that these attributes of being a Muslim are not only found among Muslims. Yeah. For instance, the attribute of justice, attribute of good moral character, attributes of all commanding what is right and what is wrong cannot be the monopoly of the Muslim. It may be found among every individual, among Jews, among Christians, among Buddhists, and so forth. So wherever these attributes are found, we may consider them, it or he or she, as a Muslim in that particular aspect. Now, for example, if a Jew follow the teaching of God that killing an innocent civilian, an innocent person is prohibited, then he is Muslim in that particular aspect. Yeah, that is the meaning of Muslimness as an attribute. So, among these attributes are actually the virtues of justice, virtues of equality, virtues of good moral character, and so forth. It is important to say that terrorism, which has sometimes been mistaken by those who do not understand Islam, is one of the attributes of Islam, which they reduce the term radical Islam. Radical Islam is not in the dictionary of Islam. If we mean radicalism as terrorism, yeah. Islam is the only religion which condemns terrorism and killing of innocent civilians in the harshest term. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Man qatala nafsan muta'ammidan فكأنه قتل الناس جميعا ومن أحيا الناس فكأنه أحيا الناس جميعا. Whoever kill an innocent soul, an innocent person, it is equivalent that he killed the entire humanity. And whoever saved a soul, it is the same as he saved the entire humanity. I think there is no religion on earth except Islam that condemn killing of innocent civilians in the hardest term than Islam. So terrorism is not an attribute of being a Muslim. Radical Islam should not be attributed to the religion of God. Yeah. If we mean radicalism as doing against the law. Yeah. So far, this is our news to our brother Christians, brother Jews, and brother Adventists. We share certain commonalities in our faith, yeah, especially the three Abrahamic religions, that is Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. We are the three Abrahamic religions, and it is a fact that we share on certain aspects as common to our belief. Like, for example, belief in the hereafter. This is common to all three Abrahamic religions. Belief in the angels of God. Belief in the existence of one God. We only differ on the matter about the personality of Jesus Christ. Among our brother Christian, they consider Jesus as Son of God and therefore God Himself. Among Muslims, we revere Jesus Christ, Jesus the Son of Mary, as one of the prominent prophet of God. Here, this is the only difference. Now, in terms of morality, I think this is common to all religions of civilized nation. Yeah. The primary teaching of the Torah about the Ten Commandments, such as prohibition of killing, prohibition of stealing, prohibition of adultery, and prohibition of coveting the wives of other person, these are all prohibited in Islam. So we share this in common with Christianity and Judaism, especially the sect of the Seventh-day Adventists. I know this has there are many commonalities between Islam and this sect of Christianity. So, ladies and gentlemen, since our brother here, like Dr. Abdulsalam Disumimba and Alim Ansari Batu are here, they are willing to share with you also their view, especially on the articles of faith in Islam and other essential teaching of Islam. Let me just conclude my remark by conveying my salam to everyone. May God's peace and blessing be upon you all. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.